All right, so it's 6 p.m. now. Let's start up with this event.
Yeah, sure, Ashwin. Just a minute.
Yes,
It's visible, right?
yes, Pranav.
Yeah. Kirti, you wanna start over?
Sorry, guys. This was a network issue. Uh,
Cool.
yeah, fine. Good evening, guys. I hope everyone are doing well. So basically, till now we have did our Python basic sessions, which was Sprint 1, Sprint 2, and Sprint 3, where we have explored different basics of Python, which was necessary for our coding or programming skills and so on. So integrate data science along with Python. We want to showcase you how data science is related with Python and how we can use Python on it. Okay. So this is about what our aim is regarding these events. So basically, Preno, next slide, please. So how many of you know what is data science? Can you please drop me in the chat box? What do you think about data science and what is it? Guys, please make it interactive. Okay, Satvik's study of data. I'm expecting more of you to answer this. Guys, come on, it's a simple question. What is data science according to you? Ashish, it's a science of data, okay? Fine. So, in as the word, it pronounces as data science. So there is something scientifically happening behind the data. See, nowadays data is hugely generated, right? It can be generated through sensors. It is easily generated through various public domains, private domains, even the day-to-day daily activity from your mobile phones, the Instagram accounts, various social media accounts, and so on. So you're collecting a huge amount of data, right? After collecting a huge amount of data, there are several top multinational companies where MNCs and different types of companies, they are doing business from our data. They're extracting the important features from our data and they're doing business with them. So who is helping them to do the business? It's nothing but the data scientist, data analyst, and so on. So people who work with data. Okay, so data is that much valuable in our day-to-day future. So data can be in many ways. It can be structured, it is unstructured, and it is also semi-structured. So it's not important how you collect the data. It's important that how you can find a beautiful and most important solution to your clients what they need. For suppose you're collecting an Instagram data, like you have a particular post, you are giving there are several people who like that particular post, right? So after liking that particular post, there are some companies who ask for the data of who or like how many people have liked that particular post, how many of them have commented among that post. And these tricks have mostly played in the political parties, in the political domains, to increase the number of casting votes. So may I know how many of you people know how data science is used in our day-to-day like daily basis? Can you please comment me in the chat box? Okay, fine. So, see, data science is combined with visualization, statistical modeling, and statistical computing, data technology, data research, data consulting, and real world application, and even scientific methods. So, what is visualization? Visualization is nothing but when you're collecting the data, when you want to showcase your clients how data is valuable to them, you collect the data and pre process it. Means you take away all the unnecessary part of the data and help them to visualize the data in a more particular manner. Like you can showcase your data in the form of bar charts, in the form of pie charts, and so on. So, and coming to statistical modeling. So, what is this statistical modeling? Statistical modeling is nothing but when you're collecting the data, you are expressing to your client in the form of a statistical model, like you are expressing in the form of pie chart. For example, there is a certain data you have which consists of 100%. In pie chart you express them, 27% of this data belongs to a particular thing and remaining 37% and the 12% and so on. That is called a statistical modeling. So what is statistical computing? So when you're giving the percentages from the pie chart to your client computes from the percentage of the data. Like he checks what percentage of your particular visualization is valuable to him, how it can help his business to grow. And we have data technology included in our data science. So what is this data technology? Data see like For data scientists, lot of time and effort is on data pre-processing. When you're collecting a particular data, it takes a huge time for you people to pre-process the data. Like you need to find out the unnecessary part, you need to remove the errors, you need to focus on what part the client needs at particularly. So that's about data technology. So you combine different types of technology with the data, and you pre-process the data in a much easier manner by saving time. So for example, you have data tech company, which is a company which pre-process the data for you. And we have remaining IoTs, even IoT devices also we integrate with data science and we pre-process the data. Next, we have data research. So data research is very important thing. So when you're collecting data from a particular source, you need to be aware how much you can believe that source. Like how much guarantee you can give to your client that the data collected from a particular source is 100% correct. So there should be a trust while collecting the data. You need to know how much of your data is absolutely correct and how much of your data is incorrectly collected. So next one is data consulting. So like data consulting, you consult various organizations, you consult various companies, and you try to gather different types of data and real world applications. So you have many real world applications in data science, right? For example, there are many ML models that we are going to use in our real world applications. So there are many smartwatches which recognizes your heartbeat by knowing the pulse of your wrist, right? So how does the smartwatch gives you exactly the number of your heartbeat, like it's your 86 pulse or 91 pulse? How does it give you the exact pulse rate? It's nothing but before these sensors are kept into this particular smartwatch device, more amount of data from people has been collected and an ML model has been developed on it, and it has been implemented in a small sensor. And next we have scientific methods. We have various scientific methods to pre-process our data. Like we have different types of algorithms and so on. That is about how data science integrates with all these types of models. Next slide. So, guys, many of you have doubts like these are the now what showing you on my screen. These are the various questions in the last 2 years which has been Googled. So, for example, is the data scientist job is the sexiest job of 21st century? And if data science explosion is coming from the tech world, so what does actual data science mean? Is it science of big data? Why big data? And who does data science and where? What existed before data science came along? It is simply rebranding of statistics and machine learning. Why and how to hire a data scientist? You will get answers to all these questions in our coming slides. We'll explain you there. Next slide, please. From here, Pranav gonna take on the session.
Sure. Yeah. So, guys, if you're going to be a data scientist, right? If you're an aspiring data scientist or if you're just getting started in this data science journey, I think the first thing you should learn, and the most important thing of all of these elements, is the data science life cycle, right? So when in the future, when you're performing any personal projects, or if you're doing a project for any client, when you're working in a company, so these are some of the basic steps that you have to follow as part of the procedure, and that these certain steps, this sequence is called as a data science life cycle, guys. So starting from the business problem understanding here, right? What is a business problem understanding? This is also called as a problem statement or domain knowledge, etc. So what this basically means is that, for example, if you are working on some cancer data related project, right? So basically, it is always recommended that you have good domain knowledge first. So you need to have a good understanding of, for example, the medical sector, right? You need to understand what each and every data or data feature represents in that cancer data that you get, right? Because once you have that proper domain knowledge of the health sector or whatever sector that is you're working on for that particular project, you can then go on to understand the data very deeply. So once you understand the data very deeply, then it is easier for you to perform these steps, right? So obviously, when you're an expert in the domain itself, no one can actually beat you in analyzing the data from the domain, right? So that is the first step, guys. That is also called as the business problem understanding. So it might not just be restricted to health data or something, right? It could be anything like the social media data, or for example, it could be any IoT data, or for example, in companies like Instagram, you need to just be well aware of the data that is being generated, like the number of likes or the number of comments that is there, or the number of clicks on your post. All these are the types of data features that you're going to get when you're working in those particular company in a particular domain. So a well-established business problem understanding is always recommended. And then the next step is that you're basically collecting the data collection. This is where, usually if you have heard about the term data engineers, right? Data engineering team, that is where this team comes in. So you have many resources, guys. As Keerti said already, you have many sources. Just look around you. Like, for example, your smartphones, your smartwatches, your Bluetooth devices, right? Your Bluetooth earphones, or any smart assistants like Alexa or Google, or your laptops. Each and everything basically is generating data every millisecond, and all this data is basically getting collected into a particular whatever source that the particular uh, thing has. And from that source, the data engineer's job is to basically properly collect the data and properly pre-process it, right? Because without any proper source, without any data, what are you actually going to do in this whole process, right? So the heart of data science is basically data, right? Basically performing some other scientific or statistical technologies or methodologies that you have learned over the data, and then you're generating an insight, right? Once you have the raw data, you're converting that into information, and then converting information into insight. And that is a job of a data scientist. That is your job when you're going to start learning data science. And so once you have a proper understanding about the problem that is there, you're going to collect the necessary data for your problem. And later, you're going to clean the data. So the data cleaning part and preparation comes in, right? This is also what we call as data pre-processing, for example. So, for instance, of course, we're going to look in depth with proper Python codes in the coming sessions, guys. But as of now, this is a general introductory session. So, data cleaning is, for example, when you have an Excel sheet of data, you might have many missing value columns, right? Randomly just pick any data set from the internet. You'll obviously have many null values or missing values in that Excel sheet. And once you're going to work on it in Python or other programming languages, you're going to face problems or errors because of those null or missing values, right? So before you go on to the analysis or exploration part, it is important that you just clean the data and pre-process it. This is the preparation step. And later we have the main step that is called as an exploratory data analysis. So this is also called as EDA, or just data analysis, or as the name suggests, in this step, this is where the job of a data analyst is going to come in, right? So the job of a data analyst is basically to come in from the data. Once you have the clean data, you're going to make sense out of the data, right? Once you just have raw data, it could be numbers or names or just quantities, you have to make some sense, right? What does the data even mean? For example, if I'm working in a company like Instagram, I obviously have, like, for a person's post, I have the data that shows me that there are 150 likes or 25 comments or 35 clicks on that particular post. But what am I going to do with that data, right? I'm going to first analyze it and see how I can make meaning from it, right? How I can make sense from the data so that I can use it to solve the business problem that I have. So the main focus is going to be on data, and using data, how am I going to generate insights that allow me to actually solve the problem that I have at hand? That is the business problem that I'm solving, right? So it always comes back in a full cycle to the business problem. Your job is to find a solution to the business problem by using data and insights and using different steps here. So that is the data analyst job, to basically analyze the data in different ways. That could be using programming languages or other methodologies or cloud technologies or just basic mathematics and statistics, and just make sense out of the data. So once the EDA is done, once you have some proper features or analyzed rows and columns, from those sorry you're going to then do something called as the feature engineering. So, features are basically different columns in the analyzed data, guys. So once you have different features in your data, for example, number of likes, number of comments, or number of songs played in a particular Wing channel, or the number of IoT devices connected to your laptop, all these could be features. It could be anything. So for this, I'm basically training the okay, sorry. Yeah, I'm basically training the machine learning model so that it can basically predict the same feature values if I get a new data set in the future, right? It could be anything. So if I'm getting a new feature again, I'm basically training this machine learning model so that it can actually predict it by itself and keep getting better, just like humans, right? We keep learning and we keep getting better. That's how the machine learning process also works. And after that, we basically see if that model is properly evaluated, if it's performing properly or not. And then for the final results, we use visualization steps. Like Kirti said, we can use different pie charts, bar graphs. I mean, there are various number of plots and graphs present in the Python libraries, guys. And using those libraries, we'll basically visualize data in a neat manner. And why? Because, I'm sure you have heard of this fact that humans generally learn much more visually than from text or by hearing, right? Visual communication is the best form of communication, because once you see diagrams or any pictures or movies or videos, it is the easiest and fastest form of learning anything, right? So once you have all the data insights from the data set that you have, you can basically put those insights in a proper beautiful manner using data visualization and present it to your clients, or just present it to your, it could be whoever that you're reporting to. And that data visualization also contains the solution for the business problem at hand. So this whole sequence of steps, this is called as the data science life cycle, guys. So why are we talking about data science now, right? Why has it become so popular? So, as we already know, data is literally generated from almost everywhere, guys. Just look around you, and almost everything that you can see, which is electronic, generates some or the other form of data. And it could be used in some or the other way. It could be pre processed, like we talked in the earlier slide, and it could be analyzed to gain insights. So, whatever form of electronic device it is going to generate data in different forms, and that data can be used somehow to actually give meaningful insights to solve a particular problem that we may not even know of, right? We may not even realize that that particular problem exists, but once we actually analyze the data from the insights, you can actually solve a problem that is even not even stated yet. So that is the power of data science in today's modern world, guys. So as this says, massive amounts of data from many aspects of our life, it could be historical data, it could be historical data, for example, this we have this new COVID variant that has come in the last year itself, right? But in the previous year, we do not have that variant yet. So that would be called as historical data. But what if real time, as of today, as of this moment, you want the actual statistics of the COVID cases and the vaccination reports in the country, right? You could just go to the WHO repository and you can basically get the real time data that is as of now what is happening, right, at this very moment.